So, welcome to Wellbeing Wednesdays with Arvinder Narula podcast, specifically for the International Day for Yoga. Joining me is Dr. Raghavendra Rao, the Director of Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy. Dr. Rao, thank you so much. I know you've been busy, you are heading to the ministry, so you had to take this while you're in the car. I really appreciate your taking out time to speak with us today.
Thank you, Harvinderji. Namaste.
Namaskar. Dr. Rao, this year the theme for the International Day of Yoga is One Earth, One Health. How does yoga align with this vision of the global and ecological well being?
Okay. When you talk about yoga, it is about managing one's mind. It is about emotions. It is about compassion. It is about love. So it is about expanding your awareness and expanding your consciousness. So we know that this consciousness is something which is very global. The plants, animals, the environment around us, which all breathe life. It's all part of this collective consciousness. And we human beings are also part of the same collective consciousness. So if we are in unison with this particular collective consciousness, that means to say that we also have that kind of compassion to all the beings around us, to nature around us. So this leads to a ecological concept wherein we are in harmony with nature, and this is a very important aspect of yoga. Learning to be in harmony with nature, learning to love the plants and animals around you, caring for them, nurturing them is very much important, because today what we see is that we are now moving from vegetarianism to non-vegetarianism. We are eating more of meat products, and today, because of eating meat products, especially the red meat, you can see the cancer incidence is also increasing. So the moment we disturb this ecology, disturb this nature because of our greed, is we are going to suffer the consequences. And same thing with zoonotic diseases like COVID. We have been very near to the animals, and animal meat and other products, and we are disturbing nature. We are causing deforestation, and you're getting those illnesses and zoonotic diseases more into the humankind. So unless we learn to respect nature around us, save the ecology, nurture the ecology around us, we'll not be free from disease.
And Dr. Rao, when we are talking of yoga today, I think it has moved from being just a personal wellness tool to much beyond that. How do you think government today can help create an environment where it is not just seen as a personal tool, but as a lifestyle that promotes the planetary health? I mean, like you just said, that consciousness, not just about us, but everything around us. How do we actually promote this as a lifestyle?
Yeah. See, this, if you want to look at yoga as a lifestyle, you need to understand the main cause of suffering in us. So today we are in a rat race. We are completely beset with consumerism. We want to acquire more and more things, more and more greedy. We become more and more greedy. We want to get one car is not enough. We want to take a bigger car, a second car, a third car, and we want to take expensive clothes. We want to spend most of the money on good amount of foods, and so on and so forth. So in this consumerism and rat race and having the greed for power, acquiring more wealth, this is causing most of destruction on our, and having more comforts. This is causing too much of destruction on our environment. We are living a very huge carbon footprint. So what yoga really talks about is about minimalistic living, living in tune with the nature, living in natural laws, not acquiring more wealth. Trying to acquire that much amount of wealth is more sustainable for you too, which is more of a need for you rather than becoming a luxury for you. Okay, so when you start understanding the concepts of yoga, you'll become less greedy. You will not be running behind wealth, power, and comforts, and you will learn to live in a minimalistic way and nurturing nature as well as the nurturing the environment around you. And this is a very important concept, because yoga is not just a wellness, a physical activity; it's a way of life. So that's the reason why we call yoga as a lifestyle.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Dr. Rao, you represent the Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy. Now, CCRYN has been at the forefront of evidence-based yoga research. How do you see the role of yoga and naturopathy in addressing today's global health challenges? I mean, we know that we face lifestyle challenges like diseases like diabetes, etc. There is mental health issue that has been brought to light, and today we are also facing environment related stress, especially in the urban areas?
See, what we are seeing today is a complete transition in the medicine. See, what earlier the medicine was talking about is everything can be taken care of with a pill. It is not so today. Today we see the advent of metabolic diseases or chronic diseases, which are throughout their life, which are long term in nature. Like for example, you take diabetes, you take hypertension, you take a dyspepsia, okay, or you take a heart disease for that matter, or a cancer for that matter. All these are chronic diseases; they don't have cures. So a pill alone cannot really help in managing these diseases. They can only bring down a blood sugar, they can only bring down the blood pressure or control the blood pressure for some amount of time. But the trait of having the blood pressure, increased sensitivity inside the body, which can cause the blood pressure, the stress, which is the root cause of this blood pressure, it still remains so. So unless we take care of this root cause, unless we start implementing yoga and other interventions and start developing tailored yoga modules, which is having a lot of evidence to show its effects on glucose control, glycemic control, its effects on blood pressure, and so on and so forth, people will not believe this. So what we are seeing today is in diabetes, for example, one glycemic agent to manage his glucose levels. But after having erratic lifestyle and diet and not following norms of physical activity and having a lot of stress in their life, they the diabetes gets progressive. When your blood glucose level doesn't come under control by medication anymore, and you may require two medications and three medications and so on. Later on, you may even go to the insulin as well. So this is a progressive disorder, and if you don't correct somebody's lifestyle along with the medication, it is not going to work. So this changing the lifestyle is very, very important. And yoga as a important lifestyle intervention is already been proven across medical settings. Large medical institutions are already adopting yoga to manage these chronic conditions, especially with respect to cancer, with respect to diabetes, with respect to heart disease, heart failure, and so on and so forth. And soon we see that in the years to come, yoga will become a very important complementary strategy, an integrative strategy to combat these NCDs.
And Dr. Rao, this time the theme is making us think beyond any one country. We are talking about the global level for yoga. We're talking about the planet. We're talking about one Earth. How do you see the potential of yoga in creating healthier societies, not just in India, but globally, especially in the under-resourced and high-stress regions? I mean, we've seen regions across the globe that are going through stress times today. What is the role that India can play in this?
It's a very good question. Uh, we have seen yoga transcends religions, transcends caste boundaries, and transcends geographies as well. So if you see, you'll be surprised to see that there are lot many schools of yoga in Iran, lot many schools of yoga in USA and Canada compared to that of India. And that's the reason because yoga has become very popular globally. So it doesn't preach any sort of religion, doesn't preach any sort of dogma. It is more to do with one's well-being. So when the goal is to have one's health, one's well-being, and mental peace, it takes somebody to the path of spirituality beyond religion, and that is very very important aspect of yoga, and that has been taken up by most of the countries. And you can see most of the countries practice yoga on this International Day of Yoga. Huge number of yoga studios in US, in Canada, in UK, and Europe. And a lot of these people come to India to various yoga schools and yoga gurus and learn yoga from here and go back and spread this message back home in their countries. And this yoga is becoming a revolution. Basically, it is transforming lives, it is transforming culture, it is transforming human behavior. So the violence which we see here uh, is also can be taken care of, especially with respect to yoga. So if one person is transformed, he can transform the community around him. Community around him transforms, they can transform the society around him. So that's how yoga can really works, like a cannonball effect. And this is a very interesting thing that if you start training more teachers in yoga from abroad, this is going to be a global phenomenon. And the answer for the people who are also engaged in the war and war-like scenario, we can see those people in Gaza, Palestine, or any other place in the earth for that matter, where there's a lot of turmoil. They also take recourse to yoga to manage their post-traumatic stress disorders, manage their depression, manage their situations there, and mental to achieve this mental well-being and cope with the particular stressors.
So this is very interesting when you're talking about getting people from overseas to come to India, get trained. We've also seen a lot of modernization of yoga to contextualize to the newer generation, right? What do you think the role of our country would be to take yoga to the world, but in a manner that it respects both the science behind it as well as the wisdom of traditional way in which it is practiced?
Very interesting question. Change is what's happening here in the Western countries is that people take up the concepts of yoga and turn these concepts and improvise on these concepts to achieve certain objectives. For example, there are people who want to develop more flexibility and more relaxation. They developed a concept called hot yoga, where you do a yoga in a steam chamber. So when you do yoga in a steam chamber, in a steam room, what happens here is the steam probably relaxes the muscles. It reduces the pain of the stretching of these muscles and helps you to have more flexibility and stretching. Okay, so people can develop this is one of the modalities of uh, making somebody to stretch more than what they can really do. Okay, some of the schools use props and accessories. Some of them use chairs, some of them use ropes, and they use it for an elastic bands as well to improve the stretch of different muscles of this thing. So basically, the goal of yoga here today is for the youth is to achieve certain outcomes. Some of them want to achieve flexibility, some of them want to achieve fitness, and some of them want to achieve mental equipoise. So some of the meditative traditions are becoming more popular. Mindfulness techniques are becoming more popular. The word mindfulness is also taken from the yoga text. Okay, it is called prajna or internal awareness. So each school is taking up certain particular concepts of yoga, improvising this themselves. There's no harm to it, no doubt. That it's creating well-being in different sorts of way, and there's no harm to this. But the Indian content, one should understand that whatever maybe the type of yoga you are using there, the yoga has come from the ancient Indian science. It's come from the presently Ashtanga yoga, and all the aphorisms of presently Ashtanga yoga talks about the yama, niyamas, asana, pranayama, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, and all these other derivatives from all these particular aspects of the Ashtanga yoga is what is improvised in different forms and schools of yoga.
Dr. Rao, you know, when we are talking about promoting the concept of yoga as a healthy option, we've seen that, the government is doing their bit. We've also taken the message to schools in some manner to some extent. But we need to do more than that. How do you think can the corporates and the public health bodies, what is it that they could do to promote this concept of one earth, one health philosophy through yoga based interventions?
See the role of corporate to be very clear.
Especially when we are talking of corporate wellness these days.
Yes, very important here. It's a very important aspect because we have been dwelling on this subject for about 2 or 3 years. And we've noticed that certain corporates have done a lot of work in bringing about this change in their own setup. I'll give you an example of TCS. We had a discussion in the Yoga Connect program the other day. We had representatives from TCS. They have trained 200 of their software engineers in yoga. So all of them have done masters in yoga from SVR Sai University, and they have become yoga trainers themselves, and they have been using yoga to improve their own employees, the well-being of the employees. So using yoga for back pain, managing musculoskeletal conditions, and improving the productivity at workplace, reducing the sickness absenteeism at workplace. So yoga can be really used to foster bonding, foster well-being of the employees, improve interpersonal relationships, reduce egocentric behaviors. Okay, and when you have yoga as such, which can help in improving the positive thoughts of love, compassion, of respecting the other person. Okay, this really helps in bonding and helps in team building, especially in case of corporates. And it can really improve the outcomes as well and productivity of the employees as well and their efficiency as well.
Dr. Rao, on this International Day of Yoga, what is your message to the global citizens about adopting yoga not just as a practice, but as a way of living in sync with the earth?
The first thing is for people to understand that they should not be behind consumerism. They should learn to have a minimalistic kind of living, learn to respect nature around them, learn to respect fellow beings and the communities around them, and work in the spirit of serving the community and the society around them. So, unless you are not contributing to the society yourself, and if you're not doing service to the society, and there's no point in that means you're very self-centered and you're just living for yourself. The goal should be to see that what you can give back to society, and yoga really talks about this. And this philosophy of yoga is called karma yoga. So we are karma yogis. When you talk about yoga, it's not just about doing an asana in the park. It's about transforming our nature, inner nature. It's about developing the skills to manage our emotions, developing our skills to serve the society, to be very selfless in our attitude, to be very humble, to transcend our ego, be very humble, and spread the positive vibes and emotions to all the community around you, all the people around you.
Dr. Rao, I think, this has been a brilliant conversation. We were lucky that we were able to catch you while you're on your way to the ministry. Some of the things that I can take away from what you just said is that one, it has to be a collective consciousness. It's about self and everything around you. It is not restricted to just you yourself. And again, one thing that very clearly emerged from this conversation is that today is the time to go beyond the pills. And there is a need to address the cause which created that dis-ease in the body. So I think, yoga has to be, in fact, yoga and various other philosophies have to contribute towards creating a integrated healthcare or well-being. uh, Third is that outcome based yoga is also now being practiced today. It has been adopted not just by the young generation in India, but it has also been very successfully adopted in the Western world. But the only thing that we need to be cautious about is to ensure that the science and tradition is maintained. And last thing that you just spoke of was that we have to respect the spirit of service. And in India, we call it the Seva Bhav. And what you mentioned that in yoga also, we have this philosophy of karma yoga. So I think, this is a brilliant message that you have on the yoga day for people in this country. So thank you so much for taking out time to speak with us at VW Wellbeing World, sir.
Thank you, Harpinder ji. Namaskar. And
Namaskar.
thank you, Business World, for hosting me here on your podcast. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, sir. Thank you.